Alright guys, hey what's up, this is Kyle again. I wanted to make a topic about Chavo Guerrero entering, being now signed to TNA Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. I was going to do an Impact Wrestling review the other day, but I got so busy I didn't have time to do it, so I thought instead of talking about doing a review of Impact, which I thought was a good show, had some really solid matches between James Storms and AJ Styles and Bully Ray and Kurt Angle. Which was the main event match. I mean, just really solid matches. And even the X Division match, Kenny King and Zema Ion, that was awesome too. So they had really good wrestling matches, which I thought it was a good show. However, I just kind of want to talk about this more in detail. Chavo Guerrero joining TNA. Now, I know a lot of people always complain, about TNA being the retirement home for WWE rejects and wrestlers that WWE doesn't want anymore and everything else, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. WCW was the same thing, so it's really, no different. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think Chavo is I think he's a good talent acquisition to the TNA roster. Now, some of you guys may argue the point, the spot they gave Chavo could be the spot, for them to bring in a new talent and build them up, or once again, or don't have Chavo at all, because if TNA is but a retirement home for the WWE, you can have at it with that argument and statement. But I think Chavo, makes a nice acquisition to the TNA roster. Now, obviously, Chavo, like many other wrestlers in the wrestling business, where they come from a family of wrestlers, they always live in the shadow of the successful star in their wrestling family. Like for example, the most successful star between Jeff Hardy and Matt, it's Jeff. Owen always lives in the shadow of his brother Brett. Booker T and Scott Steiner end up becoming the big two stars out of their siblings. They end up becoming the bigger stars. The Rock, hands down, ended up becoming the biggest star in his entire lineage and in the history of his family. And, and Chavo is no different. Chavo, lives in the shadow of Eddie Guerrero, and, nobody put Chavo on the pedestal of Eddie Guerrero. However, Chavo Guerrero, I think, is a good talent. He's 41 years old. Sure, he's not like in his 20s or 30s or anything like that anymore. But you know what? He's 41. He looks good. He looks like he's in shape. He can still go. So he's not like beat and banged up like a lot of other wrestlers who might be at his age. Chavo can still give great matches. And even though he was not a main eventer caliber wrestler in WCW or WWE, I could definitely see him probably getting a better spot in TNA. Because to me, the way I look at it, Chavo may not be a main event like name ski type of talent where what people are like, oh, if they have Chavo Guerrero, I have to order this pay-per-view because Chavo, he doesn't draw like Eddie did or has, but he's a good upper mid-card talent or mid-card talent, I would say. I could picture Chavo. With TNA having Chavo Guerrero on their roster, they could do so many things with him. They could put him in the main event spot, although I probably wouldn't put Chavo in the main event spot. Not just yet, at least, because the main event spot to me is already solid and strong with guys like Rude, Storm, AJ, Angle, Jeff Hardy, and now Austin Aries, who's the new world champion. So the main event picture of the roster is pretty solid. So, but they can still put him in other areas. I could see Chavo being in the X division, helping the younger guys out in the X division, adding some flavor to that division. I could see Chavo working with, yesterday, this past Thursday on Impact, I could see him working with Hernandez and they form a tag team. That'd be great. Bring those two in the tag team, bring some newness, some freshness into the tag team division. Hell, I'd love to see Chavo Guerrero as the TV champion. Bring some prestige back into that title. Not that it really had any much prestige, but the best TV champion that TNA's had ever since that title's existence was AJ Styles. And sure, Devon has had some pretty good, okay to decent matches, but still, I'd rather have someone that can like really go. And to me, Chavo I think can go and is a little bit better in ring work than Devon is. You know, so I'd love to see Chavo as TV champion. So they could really put Chavo in a lot of different you know, divisions and areas on the TNA roster. And you know, and I say like Chavo, unlike some of the other talent in wrestling, is, you know, how they always like to hold their spot. I don't think Chavo's like that. To me, Chavo is one of those guys who you could count on to put over the young talent because he's not an attention grabber. I don't think Chavo is that kind of like guy. Plus, I also think he's a reliable person. I mean, you may want to call him a WWE reject, but unlike some of the other talent that TNA has acquired from the WWE, Chavo does not have a bad record. He's never been on any type of drugs or suspended or on drugs or anything like that. He's not like super duper old like Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were when they came to TNA. He's 41 years old, so he can still go. He's in good shape. Physically, he's, you know, he can still go. He's healthy and everything else. So, you know, I think them acquiring Chavo has more positives than it does negatives. So that's just my thought on Chavo Guerrero being acquired by TNA Wrestling. Give me you guys' thoughts and opinions. Do you agree with my opinions and, you know, my thoughts on Chavo being in TNA and how they could use him in various ways? Or you just think it's just absolutely just a waste of space and they could use that to acquire a no-name talent and build him up in Chavo's place? Give me you guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment box below or make a response video. Peace.